Good for you. Your mind will never be the same.
Well, I read it for the first time. I think it was 2 months ago.
I know, but then you found the context of it where Alyosha goes up and gives Ivan a kiss. Mm-hmm. That is just, don't do that to my brain. And of course, Alyosha's delighted, which is great, and so is Ivan. But what he's done there is shown what it's like to get to the limits of what you can do with language. Jesus looks at the Grand Inquisitor with great sorrow and great compassion. And after he tells him he's going to burn him in the morning, Jesus goes up and gives him a kiss. And that, of course, overwhelms the Grand Inquisitor, who doesn't know what to do then. Says, get out, but don't ever come back. And Ivan, having thought this up, is baiting all the religious people in the world, of course. And Alyosha responds to this debate silently with a kiss. And what this is the inverse of Judas's kiss that killed Jesus. So the Grand Inquisitor is the slice that people take out of the brothers Karamazov, because it's a very daunting read for some people, but it is a pretty amazing and provocative idea.
Half of what the Grand Inquisitor was going on about, I had no idea what he was saying. It seemed to be, God, I feel stupid whenever I speak.
Well, no, you're not stupid. The Grand Inquisitor says, look, Jesus, you impose too great a burden on the world. People don't want freedom. They want rules, and they want to be told what to do.
Yeah.
Freedom is crushing, and you're asking too much of human beings, that they should be free and good. The best we can do is enslave them to rules and institutions. And that's actually good for them. That's what they really want. So, Jesus is saddened by the Grand Inquisitor's pessimism about human nature. And also, the idea is, of course, if Jesus is God, then telling him that he's wrong is a real pride kind of problem. It's a jump there. But of course, this is prefiguring Ivan's catharsis, Ivan's transformation at the end. Because all the three brothers are the parts of the Platonic soul, right? Dmitri is bronze, and Ivan is the rational part, but the spirited gets transformed into the spiritual, and that's what we get with Alyosha. But still, all three of the brothers are fragmentary. Their souls looking for integration.
The part where I'm at right now is, Father Zosima just died, and Alyosha is recounting his life story.
Yeah. Where were we? Father Zosima, yeah. Father Zosima smells bad when he dies, just like everybody else. And the requirement that he be holy, sufficiently holy so that his body is incorruptible, is silly. On the other hand, it's very hard to figure out exactly what the deal is with Father Zosima, since that spooky scene where he gets down on his knees and
bows to Dmitri, yeah.
What is that exactly?
No, and then the next day he goes and tells Alyosha, I saw a vision of something horrible happening to your brother, and that's why I bowed to him.
Oh,
Jesus
okay.
fucking Christ,
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, everybody is spooky.
Yeah.
In the Dostoevsky novels. I mean, it's a very strange take on human nature.
Representation of human nature. I don't find it overly spooky.
Well, there's a deep Augustinian sense of human depravity. In other words, He's a deeply Christian writer. Athenian optimism about reason. Instead, he thinks that the things that have been imported, like Enlightenment thought from Europe, have made Russia corrupt. Right, and that's what Ivan is doing. He's reflecting the European influence, which he thinks is carrying Russia away from its true dignity and its true destiny as the savior of the world spiritually. So that Slavophilia that we get here in Dostoevsky runs all through his novels, and the emphasis on Christianity. Not, I mean, a very peculiar version of Orthodox Christianity, but Christianity is ultimately the big issue in all of Dostoevsky.
I don't know that much about the Orthodox Church, so I think I know almost nothing.
Yeah, they split off in 1054 from Roman Catholicism, but the problem is Constantinople is conquered, finally taken by the Turks in 1453, I believe, and thereafter it becomes a general Slavic religion and it's displaced from its original center in Constantinople. Constantinople becomes Istanbul, it gets Islamized, and it's a very early and it's a Greek-speaking version of Christianity, so it has a direct connection in its liturgies to the Christian scripture, and so it's about, in that respect, it has the same or similar antiquity to that of Roman Catholicism. I mean, it's a really ancient version of Christianity.
But where do they differ from Catholicism?
The Orthodox don't recognize the authority of the Pope. Instead, they have the what is it? There's an Orthodox, I forget what the name of it is, a patriarch. I think he's in Constantinople now. I think he's in Istanbul, but I don't know. But he has authority in the church. So there's a question about ecclesiology, who's running things. And also they have various differences on theology. For example, the Orthodox Church was much more influenced by Islam, which is why Orthodoxy had its problem with people called iconoclasts. Now, an iconoclast nowadays is someone who's revolutionary or a maverick, but back then, what it meant is someone who destroyed icons. And the idea was that we are prohibited from producing graven images of God in the Ten Commandments. The Jews take that seriously, and the Muslims take it seriously, but the Christians don't. And because they are closer and more directly influenced by Islam, Islamic figures probably said, look, we represent God as these giant geometric mosaics in our mosques, but we don't give them a head and a body and hands and stuff. That's primitive, and it's also haram, it's prohibited. And so there was a streak of iconoclasm within Orthodoxy that didn't exist within Roman Catholicism, that destroyed a lot of the ancient icons because they were iconoclasts. On the other hand, Catholicism made its peace with the kind of Greco-Roman tradition of art, both drama, as in the case of morality plays, and painting. Right? So except for somebody like Savonarola in Florence, we don't see too many iconoclasts in the Western tradition. I like the fact that everybody likes Alyosha, but nobody knows why, because there's nothing particularly remarkable about him.
Yeah, I think that the only one who didn't like Alyosha was the little boy who tried to bite his finger off.
Right, and then Alyosha was so kind to him that eventually won him over too. I mean,
yeah,
you just can't make Alyosha stop being benevolent and good to people. Remember what Kant said, the only good thing is a good will?
Yeah. He's also now engaged to this one girl, but she's another one of the many hysterical women in this story.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there's just one after another. And it's
Is she the one that slams her thumb in a door?
I mean, shit, she might as well be, but that hasn't happened yet.
Okay, well, look on for that. I remember reading that passage, and I don't know, I think it's in this novel, but I read all of Dostoevsky. It kind of merges. But a young girl takes a door and slams it on her thumb, and then pulls it out as the nail is peeling off and it's turning all black. And she says to herself, bitch, bitch, bitch. It's full of self-hatred. And I'm saying, look, people have that kind of fucked up stuff in them. Please don't bring it to me. But on the other hand, look, he knows what we're really like. We're not, kind of rational profit maximizers the way economists might think of human beings. I think Dostoevsky's a much greater psychologist than Freud.
Yeah, he really pulls out a mirror on us.
Yeah. And he takes us to little corners of the mind that, I wasn't 100% sure were there, and now that I am, I don't know if I'm better off or not. Even Grishenka turns out not to be a monster. When Alyosha goes to her, she says, actually, she's not so bad.
Yeah, I think that happened a couple chapters ago, but it seems like almost everybody except for Alyosha has this weird distortion to their character.
Yeah. And there's only one that it's kind of a wild card that matches with everybody. The one person that doesn't get hated by anybody, doesn't hate anybody. And even, Captain Snegarov, who got beaten by Dmitri and his son, who tried to bite his finger, eventually you're going to say hats off for Ivan this time, as well as Alyosha. So, Dmitri's going to go to America. We assume find his fortune, and the journey motif carries us on, and the encounter between Ivan and the devil. When you get up to the final court scene with it, that's truly one of the greatest. I mean, it's worth reading 1,000 pages to see that.
I mean, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that going for me.
Turns out that the devil's a real smooth character. Good talker. Kind of rather clever, urbane, And he points out that, he really is responsible for his father's death because he's the one who put the idea into Smerdyakov's brain, and that means he's responsible. Well, parricide is the big transgression, going back to the beginnings of our culture. Father, why should I love you? Who has not wished for his father's death? We're getting all Freudian there, and, the idea of the Oedipus complex, so all that. Well, it seems like Ivan certainly has wished for his father's death. So has Dmitri. He actually punched him out. And Smerdyakov actually killed him. But Alyosha didn't wish his father's death. Yeah. And neither did Jesus. So that's the solution to the question, Father, why should I love you? Because it's a sign that your soul is well organized.
The elder Karamazov is someone that I find fun to read about because he's just this great man-child.
He's a monster.
Yeah, he's just
libido.
What is wrong with you?
Well, he has no restraint, no libido, no shame. And he's a lying sack of shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like he has no rational thought going on there. Just
Well,
wants what he wants.
only rational thought that it tells him how to create the right means for the ends which don't come from rationality, which are all driven by his libido. For him, reason really is the slave of the passions.
Yeah. And he goes and shows up drunk to Father Zosima's cell, and
Yeah,
yeah, that was fun.
that makes a disgrace for himself.
Yeah.
He's an embarrassment, and he doesn't care. He's a deeply profane individual.
Yeah.
But Alyosha's kiss is a kind of high point, where, I mean, he's taken us all the way to the limit of what you can do with language. And I think that's just kind of brilliant.
Yeah.
That's what my manuscript is meant to be. Alyosha's kiss. Before I croak.
I feel like I'm forgetting something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does
So
that.
much of my life is like that right now.
Oh, so, the elder's, second wife, he treated her horribly. That was awful. Like, I know that, his first wife was also a monster, but, God, that poor girl didn't deserve that.
Nobody deserves anything here,
Called her
right?
the Shrieker.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, you essentially, I mean, killed through the neglect or ill treatment. He's killed 2 wives already. He impregnated stinking Lizaveta.
Yeah.
And now he's known for his drunken orgies. Well, isn't that special? I mean, piss drunk on vodka and debauch yourself on a daily basis.
And you have Grigory in the corner, shielding his eyes from this bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, Father, why should I love you? I mean, it's a little easier to do in the case of God. In the case of this guy, well, I don't know. On the other hand, God bounces us around pretty good, too. All right. So, like Augustine said, our hearts are restless until they rest in you. You see what restlessness involves. Yeah, Dostoevsky wanted to remind you what's. I mean, it sounds kind of easy.
It looks like this.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's something kind of Roman about the elder Dostoevsky, or the elder Karamazov. I mean, he's like a debauched, late imperial Roman.
I kind of just think of him as a creature.
He is like a creature.
Yeah.
He's a creature of darkness.
Yeah. That he certainly is.
It's a libido that's taken over a whole soul, a whole mind, and there's nothing left. Kind of the same sort of thing that happens after, narcotics addiction too.